Welcome to the New York Community Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Loretta Brooks, and we warmly welcome you here. And we are continuing with our theme called co-creation. Today my talk is about the shift, having a shift in consciousness. So, we will begin with our spiritual mind treatment from our own wonderful Fanny Munlin. So let's welcome Fanny.
Good morning. And for those who haven't seen for the beginning of the year, Happy New Year. And I wish everyone the most wonderful year possible. Let's go within. Take a deep breath and go to the place where the Spirit of God resides in each one of us. Recognizing that there is but one power, one present, one divine intelligence in the universe, and we are all one with this power and presence. And as we move forward this day and throughout this year, we recognize and accept this power within each one of us. We know that the power and the presence of God is always available, always ready for our acceptance. And the acceptance moves us forward with ease and with peace of mind. Knowing and accepting that we are a creative idea in the mind of God, divinely guided, supported, maintained, and sustained in all our ways, we let go of doubt, fear, and anxiety and know that the divine Spirit of God is moving through our physical body, creating health and wellness. Knowing that we are one with this power, we claim the wholeness of our physical body as the temple that housed this great Spirit. We move forward this day knowing that all our needs are met when we let the creativeness of God move through our minds, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. And as we let this creative power move through and guide and direct our thoughts, greater health, greater financial security, greater relationships, the love of self come forth. Therefore, we are able to accept and give love freely, unconditional love, love for ourselves and love for our relatives and friends and loved ones. And knowing that God is all there is and there is nothing else, we move forward with an optimism for this year, knowing that the power and the presence of God is moving through everything on this planet, making it whole and cooperative. For God is all love and all law, and we recognize the law and we accept the love of God. And as we accept this joyous gift, greater health and wellness, our relationships becomes a joy. Our daily activities becomes a joy. We move forward for we are a divine idea in the mind of God, divinely guided, supported, and maintained always. For God is always ready and willing to move us with ease. And as we open up, we recognize this power and we use this power for good in our own lives and for good in the lives of those whom we contact. For we wish good for everything and everyone. For the good that we send out, the power and the presence of God brings back triple that good. And we are open and receptive to this message. For we are all one with God, guided, supported, maintained, and sustained by this infinite power. And with praise and gratitude for the love of God and the divine guidance of the Spirit of life, I release this treatment into the law of mind and action, was accepted and acted upon at once, and so it is.
That was incredible, Fanny. Thank you. Thank you. I think we can all go home now, right? That was wonderful. Thank you. Really beautiful. And now we have a reading from another wonderful practitioner, Barbara Blake. So please help me welcome Barbara.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today's reading is from Dr. Wayne Dyer, The Shift. Authentic self wonders, how may I serve? Ego's attitude, on the other hand, is gimme, 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 gimme. I need more, and I can never be satisfied. When we align with ego's voice, the universe provides experiences that match the gimme, gimme, gimme energy. It may not seem obvious at first, but if we pay attention, it's quite clear that this energy creates pressure, anxiety, and stress. Why? Because allying with ego means that we've chosen to live in a demanding environment. We simply haven't realized that we have a choice to join forces with our authentic ideals and live in a non-demanding environment. The law of attraction works either way. The more we demand from the universe, the more is demanded of us. The more we give away, the more is given to us. It's truly a simple matter of attitudinal energy generation from within ourselves. Consistently thinking of needing more attracts that needy energy back to us. When we consistently generate thoughts of giving, however, we attract the energy of giving back to us. Returning to Lao Tzu, he notes, it is entirely possible for you to achieve immortality and to experience absolute joy and freedom forever. The practice of undiscriminating virtue is the means to this end. Practicing kindness and selflessness, you naturally align your life with the integral way. The Shift is a contemporary interpretation of this ancient teaching. I hope to impart to you the meaning is not achieved through your ego and its selfish ways, but through the part of yourself that is selfless. In the verse above, he speaks of practicing undiscriminating virtue. This is your path to the freedom and joy that characterize a purposeful life. And so it is.
That was wonderful. That is from the book, The Shift by Wayne Dyer, and that's really what I'm going to be speaking to you about today. So our announcements right now, next week in your programs today, you have an insert, which is for next week. We're having a healing circle with a master Reiki healer. I don't know if I say that right or not, Reiki, however you say it. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, that's all that matters. So we're going to have that wonderful, wonderful healing circle next week, and it's going to be incredible. And please bring your friends, your family, whoever you would like to have share this with us. It will be from 12:45 until 2 o'clock after service. So we are really looking forward to that. Our Wednesday nights are continuing at the Unitarian Center. Barbara Munlin is our licensed practitioner, and she will be continuing with her lessons on Wednesday from 6:30 until 8:30 p.m., utilizing the book and the ideas of Catherine Ponder, Open Your Mind to Receive, and that is becoming more and more successful each and every week. So when you go there with your ideas, go there to share, to encourage, and to be a part of something that really, really lifts you up. So, and I'm very, very grateful for each and every one of you being here this morning. I just have a lot of gratitude, and I feel very good about the relationship that we have with the Unitarian Center, because as a result of that relationship, I've created another relationship in Montclair, and I'm going to be teaching meditation classes there in Montclair, New Jersey, which is really wonderful. I'm looking forward to that. A lot of doctors, a lot of nurses are wanting to learn how to meditate, so that is really a wonderful, wonderful practice, so I'm very grateful for that. Thank you. Okay, so now it's time for all of us to wish each other a happy Sunday. So happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday, happy Sunday, happy Sunday. It's on a Monday afternoon. Yeah, it's a Monday afternoon, yeah. It's a big hall that we have. I'm looking forward. Yeah, it's really nice. So, all good. Happy Sunday. So, now it's time to welcome our incredible musical guests, James and Julie. So please help me welcome James and Julie. Beautiful music. Thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Did you write that song? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm not familiar, but beautiful song, beautiful message. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. So again, I say good morning, everyone, and I am going to be speaking to you today about, it's kind of like a practice, actually. It's called the shift. And I want to say that the intention for today is that when you leave here, you will feel better than when you came in. And when you leave here, you will be able to kind of learn how to practice creating a shift in your life. That's really what I want to speak to you about this morning. It's very important for all of us to learn, not only from listening, from taking notes, but from being a part of something. And I believe that when we are together in a group, the group consciousness is very, very powerful. And so what I am saying to you today is we are learning how to co-create our futures, to co-create everything that we are doing. And we are being blessed by our words and by our shifts in our attitudes. So how many people in here have ever been angry? Just a few. Chandra, put 2 hands up. So we have this thing within us sometimes, you know. I know when I drive here or when I drive on the highway, sometimes I get very angry and I say things that you wouldn't believe I said. And one of the reasons that I am talking to you about this today is because I really believe that we are at a point, and I love that reading this morning from Barbara where Wayne Dyer is talking about living in a hostile environment. And Wayne Dyer also says, a loving person lives in a loving world. A hostile person lives in a hostile world, same world. And with those words this morning, I want to encourage you and I want to give you some kind of a message this morning that brings you some clarity as to how you can practice. So what do we do when we are practicing creating a shift? How do we do that? We first have to recognize whatever it is that we are feeling. So if we are feeling angry or ticked off at something, we have to recognize that. And then we have to do something about it. Because with consciousness, there is something that moves, and it's not like you're moving from one place to another. Your consciousness is what is moving. That's what I'm learning. The more that I meditate, the more that I pray, I am recognizing that your consciousness is what is changing. You are allowing yourself to be blessed, to be uplifted, and to be inspired. And that is so important, to be encouraged by the words that you tell yourself, by the things that you are doing in your life and with your life. Words are very, very important. I have a wonderful book here from my friend Ernie Chu, and I love this book. And I revisited it along with looking at the shift and looking at a lot of what Wayne Dyer is talking about. And he says something very interesting in this book. He says, learn how to value your spiritual assets. And spiritual assets are things that you can practice learning about. Decide which spiritual assets that you have. What are your spiritual assets? You may take time to think about what they are and to recognize them. If you feel enthusiasm for life, that is a spiritual asset. If you are meditating, you are creating an asset within yourself by practicing meditation, by practicing prayer work. You are recognizing yourself as part of this great divine power. And the way that we change our consciousness is by recognizing spirit and creating something from spirit through our spiritual mind treatment. There are many different practices that we can do. And some of these practices, many years ago, I did something called the S training. Did anyone ever hear of that or become a part of that? And what I discovered from that whole training process, it was very interesting. I lost my mind for 2 years. Now, what do I mean by that? Some of you understand this. I didn't have a mind. I was in the moment all the time. I was in the moment for 2 years. And it was wonderful, and I loved it. And every day I would get up and say, this is incredible. There's really nothing there except what is. Isn't that interesting? But you see, when you practice meditation, when you practice prayer, that's what you're doing. You're co-creating with God, and you're beginning to bring into your life all of the good things that you need. But guess what? One day I woke up after 2 years, and I got my mind back. It wasn't pretty. I didn't like it. I didn't want my mind back. And what I mean by the mind, I'm not talking about the mind of the spirit. I'm not talking about that mind that is whole, perfect, and complete. I'm talking about the human mind and all of the challenges that it can bring to us. But today I want to talk to you about shifting your consciousness. You know, I had an experience this week, and I'm not going to tell you who the person was, but someone was talking with me. I belong to a women's group, and she was totally denigrating someone politically. And I said, you know what? You're sending out that energy, and that's what I'm learning. I am learning that I don't want to participate in any of that energy, good, bad, or indifferent. I want to be a co-creator with life, and I want to bless people and help people and assist people in their learning. And that's what I'm doing. It's co-creation, creating with spirit from a whole new perspective, from an idea that this is right now the moment for everyone to begin to work on consciousness, to begin to change, to co-create, to create that shift in consciousness, to look at your spiritual assets, to wake up in the morning and know that you are doing something wonderful for yourself and other people, rather than taking away from someone or taking away from yourself. You are contributing. You see, that is another asset that we have. It's called contribution. I remember a principal that I had many years ago, and he said once, everyone wants to participate. Whether you are participating or not, everyone wants to be a part of that process. But it's how we participate in life. It's what we do with who we are. When I was preparing this talk, I was listening to so many people, and one of them was Reverend Michael Beckwith. And he was talking about this co-creation process that we have, honoring spirit, honoring that spirit that is within us. And when I got my mind back, and I told you it was challenging, but I began to understand something. I began to understand that the mind is really something that we are working with and using all of the time. But when you're in the moment, you can create. You get your clarity. That's another spiritual asset. Do you have clarity about something? Clarity is a spiritual asset. When you're not clear about something, you're not going to be able to create it very well. If you are in confusion, that is the opposite of clarity. And if you have clarity, treat it as a gift and respect it. Treat it as something that is part of your spiritual assets, because it is a gift that you have, and you can bring it out into the world, and you can pray for clarity. You can know that God is giving you that clarity, that clear vision of whatever it is that you would like to create. You see? My wish for everyone in this room, including myself, is that we all could let go of our minds and just be in the moment. Wouldn't that be wonderful? It's a wonderful experience. It really is. But I recognize that I have to meditate today in order to get clarity. I have to go within. I have to pray. I have to know that there's a power within me that is co-creating for me, and I have to use that power with wisdom. Because if I don't, you see, if you get a gift from Spirit and you don't use it with wisdom, sometimes it can become a challenge. It can become a challenge. I am learning about my words. I am learning about the words that I speak about other people. I am learning all of the time. Even the people that everybody's talking about and everybody, I don't want to go there anymore. I want to develop my own spiritual assets. Enthusiasm, clarity, courage is another one. If you have courage, it means that you can step out and do the things that you say you would like to do. That's courage, spiritual courage. Take a little bit of some kind of a survey with yourself and think about the assets that you have. What are some of the assets that you bring into the world? Everyone in here has so many gifts. Give your gifts with love, you see? Give your gifts with love and with peace and with joy. Circulate your gifts into the world. Give the gift of love and peace. I just had a challenge with my nephew, and it's so interesting how these things work in families also. And I had a kind of situation with him where I was upset with him, and I told my brother said, well, he's having a party, and I said, well, I won't be there. He said, really, why not? I said, because I felt disrespected. I didn't say it in a nasty way, I just said what I had to say, and then I said, unless he apologizes to me, I don't want to be there, and I will not go there. I said it very kindly. I didn't say it nastily. I said it because I meant it. I was in the moment, and I meant it. And you know that I got a letter over this weekend, a long letter of apology from him, because he recognized what he did without my having to say so. He knew what he did. He apologized for it. The reason I'm saying this is because these are the gift of communication. That's another gift that we have. If we hold on to something and we don't say how we're feeling about it, and we just let it fester, we say, no, that's okay. You see, it wasn't okay for me. You have to check in with yourself and find out what is okay and what is not okay. And then you have to let people know. Otherwise, what you are doing is you are blocking the spirituality that is within you. Because each and every person in this room has a spiritual component. That is what we work with in this teaching. We know that there is one power, one presence, one divine energy. And so for me, years ago, before this teaching, I would have been angry, I would have gone on and on and on and da-da-da. But I actually said I needed an apology, and I knew that I would get one, you see? Open your mind to receive. That's something that Barbara's talking about on Wednesday nights. When you open your mind to receive something, expect to receive it. Some people say, well, you shouldn't expect anything, then you won't be disappointed. Really? No, I don't believe that. No, there's not a word of truth to that. If you look at that book that I just taught that course called Shortcut to a Miracle, they talk about the law of expectancy. And they say that expectancy, it's like telepathy. It's telepathic. You know, if you walk up to someone and you say, gee, I don't know if they're going to like me or not, I don't think they're going to, whatever the thing is you're running in your mind, that's what you're expecting. So you have to look at what are you expecting for your life and begin to look at the spiritual assets that you have. Everyone in this room has so many assets, so many blessings, and begin to count them and begin to praise them. Begin to know that they belong to you and no one else. No one else can do the things that you can do or I can do. We have to own that and be part of it. Love, praise, and gratitude. Those are the ascension attitudes. They are the attitudes that will bless us, uplift us, and inspire us. And I spoke about this last week. I used this word from way back. Most people have never even heard about it anymore. The word is conceit, and some of you have talked to me about that. How many people remember that word? A few of you, yeah. It used to be a big word back in the day. Everybody used to say, if you said something nice about yourself, you were conceited. That was a word. We don't use that word too often in our vocabulary anymore. We make it okay to be okay with ourselves, you see? But when you create a shift in your consciousness, you are letting go of something. That's what Wayne Dyer talks about in his book called The Shift. Now he says, you go from the ego to the spirit, you see? You are letting go of something. If you are in pain and you don't let anyone know about it, then how are you going to help yourself? Go to spirit then. Do your spiritual mind treatment work. Recognize that there is a God self within you that is always creating for you and blessing your life and uplifting and inspiring you and empowering you to do more, whatever that may be. You know, for some of us, it may just be to be in the world in a different way. Maybe you're afraid. Carol Look talks about this. She came here to do a seminar for us, which was really wonderful. And she wrote something called, Are You Afraid to Shine? Are you afraid of shining? Are you afraid of shining? Are you afraid that people might not like you? They might call you conceited or whatever those words are. But they will do that anyway. So just be who you are and always becoming more of who you are. It's not about competition. God knows there's enough of it. Competition is a great thing in sports and all kinds of things like that, yes. But competition when you say, well, that person has a bigger house than I do. That person has a smaller house. You get caught up in that stuff, and that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. Who is the actor that I'm thinking of right now? He's a very famous actor, and I can never remember his name, but I'm going to say what he said anyway, and maybe some of you will let me know later. He said, when you pass away and you're in a hearse, no one ever sees a hearse with a U-Haul on the back of it. Think about it. That's very true. I'll think about the man's name. In other words, when someone passes away, they don't get to take everything with them. They don't get to take everything with them. So always give and be your best and do the best that you can do for yourself on a daily basis. That creates a shift in your consciousness. The shift in your consciousness doesn't come from taking notes. Taking notes help you, but you have to begin to practice. You have to do something differently. You really do. There was a man on Wall Street recently, and Michael Malkin, name just came to me, not the other thing, but Michael Malkin is the man on Wall Street who was in a lot of trouble way back. I remember that. He created a lot of problems for himself. Milken, thank you, I had the name wrong. Michael Milken, thank you. He was in a lot of trouble on Wall Street. And one of the things he said, I watched him in an interview, he's a changed man today, completely changed. He does all kinds of charity work, helps people in the stock market, has a foundation, completely turned his life around. He went to prison for what he did, and he also got cancer. And one of the things he said, and this is what I'm talking about in this lesson this morning, he said that when he realized what he had done and he was going to jail and he developed cancer, he said, if I do everything the same way that I've done it, I will not get a different result. I have to change something in myself and do some things a little differently. So he hired people, he hired chefs, he hired nutritionists, and now he's cancer-free and he's doing all this wonderful work. He created a shift in his consciousness. That's what we are doing day by day and moment by moment. We are creating that shift which creates through us and blesses us and uplifts us and inspires us and empowers us because we have the spiritual power within us. But we have to use it with wisdom. And how do you use spiritual power? How do you use spiritual power? You use it by recognizing first that you have it. You have it within you. The first step in spiritual mind treatment is recognition. There is one life, one power, and one presence in the universe called God, the divine spirit, the creative intelligence. That's step one. Step two is unification. It created me and it created you out of itself. And therefore, each and every one in this room is a part of that spirit, is developing these spiritual qualities called compassion, called empathy, called enthusiasm, whatever it is that you want to bring into your life. Peacefulness, calmness, you see? That's the third step, declaration. You are declaring what you would like to have for yourself. If you would like to have prosperity, you declare it. A new job, you declare it. And then you deny the denials. Whatever is happening within my consciousness that may be creating negation in any way, shape, or form, it is hereby uprooted, neutralized, and dissolved, not to return. And then you place that word into the law of mind in action, knowing that the law does the work for you and through you. And you say, thank you. And those 5 steps have done so many things for me in my life. Those 5 steps have blessed me, uplifted me, and created a shift in my consciousness, you see? And when you do that for yourself each and every day, when you do your prayer work each and every day, you are co-creating with God a whole new environment. And what happens is, no matter where you go and no matter who you are with, once you begin to change your consciousness, you can be around all kinds of people, but you become more centered. That's really the key. You become more centered within yourself, and that gets you calmer. I had to let go of some things. I had to release some things. I had to let go of the television. I had to let it go. I have YouTube now on my television. And I watch things like Robin Sharma, Tony Robbins, I watch Louise Hay, I watch Reverend Michael Beckwith. I watch all of these goodies because these are nuggets. These are beautiful nuggets that are given to me. The words and all of the things that I am hearing that are blessing my consciousness, you see? And I am doing this with a purpose. And that purpose is to create a shift within me so that I can share the good things that I am learning with others. And you can do this too. Think about this. This is a very practical lesson this morning. Think about some things that you may do differently. How many people have an idea in here of something that they could do a little differently within the next week, within the next month? It's unanimous. And now all you have to do is go home and do it. You see? Each and every day you are letting go of technology. Each and every day you are willing to do something differently. Do something differently. Technology. 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 You are willing then to let go, you see? Sometimes we have to let go of certain people in our lives. Or if we think we are owed an apology, we have to speak up and know that we are owed one. My sister's not in the teaching, and she says, oh, that doesn't bother me. She said, you know, what he does doesn't bother me because I know he's busy. I said, well, it bothers me. I love that, you know. I love being able to say what I feel and mean what I feel. It's freeing. There's a freedom in it. There's definitely a freedom in it. There's a freedom in being able to say what I'm feeling about something. It's very freeing. It really is. And it also brings clarity, you see. I'm not in confusion. If I listen to my sister and I have to go along with what she says, I have to go along. No, I have to go within and look at what I'm feeling and then say to myself, there's something bothering me here, and be willing to know what it is. What is the next step? If something's bothering you, you need to create that shift in your consciousness, but you have to know what it is before you can change it, you see? We get people in here all the time and they're treating and they want to do all kinds of wonderful things. Get clarity. Get some clarity about what it is that you would really like to do. Write it down. Write down what it is that you would like to do. And then begin your treatment work knowing that you are accepting it, that you are blessing it, that you are being uplifted and inspired to go out there and create your own vision. Many people in here are in theater, they're in acting, they're in all kinds of wonderful things. And so the first thing that some people will say is, well, there aren't that many opportunities. My granddaughter wants to be in theater, and she gets told over and over again by my daughter-in-law that she's going to end up being a waitress. And there's nothing wrong with being a waitress, but she's going to college, and her goal is to get a good paying job. But you see, that's part of the block. That's what we do. Where is that coming? Is that coming from faith or fear? Fear. Remember that. Look at what you are telling yourself. Is it coming from faith or is it coming from fear? That's a simple question, you see. I left my job when I was young to retire. I just left because I knew I had some other kind of work to do. And I did that with all my work that I did in my life. You know, I worked for 6 years as a social worker in the city of Newark, and I learned so much. I learned compassion. I learned about people. I learned about judgment, trying to work on letting it go. I worked on that, and it was time for me to go. It was very, very stressful. But it taught me compassion, and it taught me empathy in a whole new way that I could never describe to anyone. But when it was time for me to go, it was time, and I left. And I remember I was offered my first teaching job in a Catholic school. I had a college degree, no teaching experience. And they said to me, can you do this? And I said, yes, I can. And you know what? When I got in there, I said, what the hell are you talking about, Loretta? You don't even know what you're doing. You've never taught a class before. What are you telling them you can teach for? And you know what? I taught. I just taught. I just started. That's it. Really, when I look back, that's what I did. I started teaching. And that led to me getting a master's degree and then teaching finally at a high school, becoming a guidance counselor. I'm not saying all this stuff out of ego. I'm saying about what can be if you will work with yourself to allow it to happen. If you will be for yourself instead of against yourself. That's what Ernie Chu is talking about in his book, Soul Currency. I love that book. He talks about currency. He says currency, when it's spiritual, it gives you all of the tools to create whatever it is that you would like to create. Nobody told me back then how hard it would be to be a teacher. If they had told me, I may not have done it, you see? You see, like my granddaughter's being told all the time what she can't do. And then I tell her what she can do. So I work in consciousness, treating and praying, and shifting my own consciousness. I don't have to get mad at my daughter-in-law anymore, because that's where she is on her journey. But I do have to be mindful of things and pray for people and be uplifted and inspired and empowered. That's where the shift comes from. When you no longer get attached, that's another key word in this lesson. When you no longer get attached to the stuff, you just see it, release it, pray about it, bless it, and be on your way. Be on your way with spirit. I want to say one more thing to you before I close this lesson this morning, and it's about this place where we are today. When I started this place many, many years ago, and many of you were with me then, I used to tell people I started with nothing. You know how people do that in business? I started with nothing and I built this place up. You never start with nothing. There's always something. There's always something within you. Remember that when you go out into life, please. Remember that you have this spiritual energy, that there is a part of you that is spiritual. And there are so many people now that are learning about this. Doctors, nurses, all kinds of people all over the country. Do you know that they are teaching prayer in medical school, which I think is wonderful? They are beginning to teach prayer and meditation. Doctors are taking classes. My doctor, one of them, said to me, I have Wayne Dyer on my iPad. Isn't that amazing? I mean, doctors are really beginning to take hold of this, which I think is wonderful, beginning to share it. Don't be afraid to share your good with other people. That's another thing. If you meet someone and you want to tell them about the teaching or whatever it is you're doing, do it. Do it with love. Do it with peacefulness. But the one piece of advice that I would give you, and I still watch some shows. I'm not going to say I don't. I'm guilty. I have my little guilty pleasures. But I don't watch the news that much. I really don't. I've let it go. I've let it go. I just keep praying for the best for all of us. What if everyone started to do that? You see? You know, they say this thing about paying it forward. What if everyone got an idea to begin to pray for the good of this country, for peace in the world? What if everyone started doing that? It starts with each and every one of us. Remember our mission. Our mission is to create a world that works for everyone. And it starts right here, and it starts with each and every one of us. I'd like to do a closing treatment for each and every one of you. And actually, I'd like to do a little bit of a meditation, because we have some time. So I'm going to do a meditation for you. This is something that I learned this week, and I want to share it with you. So if you'd like, you can close your eyes. And I want you to think about smiling right now. And I want you to just create a smile, however you do that, and just smile. Just smile. Bring your lips up and smile. And now bring your awareness into your eyes. And I want you to smile into your eyes. Feel your eyes smiling. Allow your eyes to smile. And now bring your awareness into your nose and your face, and feel your face smiling. Feel the energy of smiling in your face, your eyes. Feel that energy. And now bring that awareness into your heart center and put your hand over your heart. And smile at your heart and send love to your heart. Smile. And now bring that same awareness into all of your inner organs. And smile. And bring love to all of your inner organs. And feel the peace in your body and your mind. Feel the calmness. And just allow yourself to smile and to feel love for your body. And just bring that love into your feet. Smile. Your legs, the trunk of your body. And just smile into your body. And feel that you are creating this wonderful love for yourself, this peace for yourself, and this calmness for yourself. Just allow yourself to feel the feelings of love and peace And smile into every part of your body now. And take an inhale. And on the exhale, release and let it go. Ah. And now take a deep breath in. And when you're ready, open your eyes and smile. I learned that this week from a wonderful Chinese master on YouTube. There's some wonderful things on YouTube for meditation. And I had never heard of smiling into your body and sending love into your body and into your organs. But I think that's a beautiful practice. But I would like to close this morning with a spiritual mind treatment for everyone. And I would like to take each and every one of you on a journey for creating a shift in consciousness. So let's know this truth together as I speak this word, knowing, understanding, and completely accepting that God is good. And that God's goodness is blessing each and every person in this room right now in this moment. Each person takes a deep breath in. And each person relaxes in the knowledge that when God is for them, there is nothing and no one that can be against them. And so with love in our hearts and with this peacefulness in our minds, we go forward inspired from within, creating this shift in our consciousness, creating a shift from fear to faith, creating a shift from lack or loss to abundance and opulence, creating a shift to joy, feeling the joy, the encouragement, and the inspiration from within, working with Spirit to know that God loves us, God blesses us, and that from this love we move out into life not only inspired, but knowing that our highest good is always blessing us, because that highest good comes from God. God is always present within us. And even when we think we are separate, we are really still at one. And we carry this idea with us, the idea of at one-ment, the idea of knowing not only who we are, but whose we are. These words are the truth, and they bless each and every person, and each person is inspired to move out into life in a new direction, with joy, with abundance, with good health and wealth and joyous relationships. We know this to be the truth. We thank God for it. And I simply say thank you to God as I place this word into the law with gratitude, knowing it's done. So be it. And together we say, and so it is. And that is the way it is. Thank you. Thank you.